And we are live here on our YouTube channel, Tackle Trading's Halftime Report, a daily financial market show where we break down the news, break down the charts, talk about the things that are on our mind, and also have some fun while we're doing it. We've got Cody producing, we've got Noah and Emily here joining me to kind of give you guys the analysis. And it is the day before Thanksgiving. We're having a great time here on a Wednesday. Noah, how are you doing today, sir?
Well, I am feeling fantastic. I'm excited about Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday, and the markets are still going up.
Yeah, markets are kind of fading into the horizon here. There's no doubt about it. They've been bullish. They've been upwardly mobile, and they're now hitting a new high. In fact, if we close again at a new high, there's another all-time high record. It's been incredibly strong. We're above all the moving averages. Let's start with this. S&P 500 heading into a Thursday. Noah, how are you approaching it from a technical perspective?
Well, from a technical perspective, it's just continuing to melt up. It's, just rising. It's got a little bit of slowing momentum there. And what I'm typically going to do is I'm going to, if I've got stock positions, I'll add a covered call over the weekend. I've got to build up a little bit of theta. But other than that, I'm thinking the market's, I'm going to maintain this cautiously bullish outlook here.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Cody, here we are, 5 candles up in a row, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, heading into a holiday tomorrow, and then a shortened day on Friday. One of the tricky things right now is that you've got Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, and I have not seen it historically to where that can be a big mover. But if those come in strong, it could be a good sign for the bulls. And if it come in weak, it could be a good sign for the bears. Cody, are you hedging at all heading into the weekend?
I'm trading today like a Friday. So even though the market will be open on Friday for the first half, just in the morning, that's really just so the bigger funds can kind of close their stuff out. It's a 4-day weekend in my mind. I'm already closing down, taking profits on any of my directional trades. I pulled a couple bullish ones off that I had. I had one on BABA that I pulled off this morning, and just closing a bunch of those down. And then actually I sold a few more puts. Just stack some theta. I always loved whenever coaches call it theta giving. So getting that extra theta in before the 4-day weekend, it's kind of nice.
Theta giving. And, that was a very popular phrase. We actually had a little dispute about that math on Friday, Noah. Noah, you ended up reading the actual definition. I succeeded to that and moved on. I gave up on that argument, Emily. Noah, give me a quick look at the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the Russell. And then we're going to finish by talking about the Russell a little bit because I've got a question for Coach Emily. And just give me a quick analysis on all four. I don't see much difference between
NASDAQ's got a little bit more strength than the S&P right now, a little bit more energy on the breakout. Let's look at the Dow. Dow is not as much energy. It's got a little bit of an inside candle here, just barely poking its head up to that new high. And then the RUT has been making the condors sweat. So we'll just go take a look at the RUT index itself there. It's slowing down a little bit after a strong breakout, but it's continuing to drift higher.
But anybody who's traded this system for any amount of time, if you are a neutral cash flow condors type trader, it's a really good system, high probability cash flow. You've got an edge. You've got all the things you're looking for as a trader. And by the way, there is a mastermind group tonight for those traders to join Coach Tyler and kind of talk about the January contract. But anybody who's traded this system for more than a year, Emily, knows that when the rut breaks, it can break and it can run and it can be very, very volatile. I had a question come in my Facebook feed here today from one of our Team Tackle members from down in San Diego. And he asked me, Tim, do you hedge? And if you hedge, how do you hedge and how do you approach it? I've asked that question to you several times on podcasts and shows and in live ballrooms as well. But I'm going to throw that to you right now. Let's say you got the 1650 December, Emily. What are you doing with it?
I have a stop to just get out. I've tried to hedge before and I'm not that good at it. I always get whipsawed either side and I've just learned to just get out of the trade. But funny enough, this time I said I was going to try it again and hedge. So I actually didn't hedge with the RUT. I actually just went and bought out calls on IWM when the RUT broke out of 16.15, somewhere around there is when I got into IWM. So there are many ways to go about it. It's just you need to have your predefined rules as to what you're going to do when it does break out.
Mm-hmm. No, you're the king of adjustments in my mind. When I think of a trader who can take a trade and turn it into something else, you're the first person that comes to mind. Let's say you do have that vertical credit spread in the bear call spread. what are some of the choices you can do? What Emily talked about is a very advanced technique, a great one, where you use the IWM to delta hedge your rut position. But what are some simple things a trader can do as well?
Well, the first thing I do is I set alerts at the key technical levels so that if I need to make an adjustment, I can. So in this case, as soon as it broke resistance, I was aware of it. And what I did this time is I just pulled the bear call off, just closed the bear call as one of the choices and just left the bull put spread on. And in fact, I actually rolled the bull put spread up as well. So I locked in a gain on the bull put, rolled up, brought in a new credit, and just closed out the top side. There's other choices, of course, when it comes to hedging. One of the things that you can do is you can hedge with a directional play like Emily did. Now, Emily used a correlated instrument, the IWM. If I'm on the rut itself and I'm looking to use an option to hedge, sometimes you can buy a call option to hedge, but it can cost a little bit. So I usually will do something like a call debit spread to give you a directional bullish bias on that. Now, the fear with that is the whipsaw, just like Emily said. Sometimes it moves just enough to make you want to hedge, and then you get whipsawed, and the hedge ends up doing more harm than it does help. My favorite instrument are the futures, but they're a lot of leverage, and so you only would do that if you have like 10 contracts or more on the Condor. And it's you can trail stops on that, so you can mitigate the whipsaw, but the whipsaw can still happen on anything like that. So I think the simple answer is, you can close out the top side of the Condor when it breaks out. That's probably the easiest, and you can still leave the put side on.
Yeah. Well, I think the simplest answer is just to get out, right? Like you're talking about. I mean, you can just take the stop loss, take the hit, and move on. You don't have to make money on every trade you ever put on as a trader. I know we have this desire to always want to be right. But even in a system where you might be profitable 80, 90% of the time, there still should be some times where you take a loss and move on. You can't wipe out months of gains just because of stubbornness. And one thing I think is really important for everybody, no matter what trading style that you end up adopting, is to have a plan. I mean, these are techniques, Noah, that you're describing that you've used many times. You've done them, you know how to risk graph them, you know how to add them in there. You're not just kind of flying like a paper bag in the wind, are you? I mean, you're
No,
purposefully.
I have a plan, and the way I kind of run my adjustments, it's a little bit like the quarterback reading the defense. You just take what plays available. When you have a read option type scenario, you don't know exactly which choice is going to be the best choice until come game time. So I have, 4 possibilities or 5, potential repairs. And the first one's always just stop loss, just stop out, and then after that, I have some directional hedges, and I have just choices. And that's kind of I use the pun options. You have options, you have choices on what kind of legs you can add on. And typically an adjustment is going to involve adding a leg on or a position on, or taking a leg off, taking something off.
Mhm.
And, in the case of like an iron condor, you can break a leg, or you can start to buy back some of the short calls in this case, leaving some of the long calls to benefit from the upward movement in price. But I do have, a playbook. Like I have a mind map with all of my potential hedges, and I practice them in a virtual account so I get good at them. So that come game time, I do have I have the right strategies just right at my command.
Mhm.
So I'm going to add to your metaphor. This is also why you should track in your trade journal, because when's the best time to also realize mistakes you made is actually when football players are watching tape and they're saying, oh, this is what happened. Oh, we could have done this. This adjustment there might have changed. So watching tape can also, when you're backtracking to see what you did and what you can do better next time, that's how you add your playbook and improve your playbook.
Well, in addition to journaling, one of the things I've always done, and I encourage my students to do, is if I make an adjustment, I'm taking screenshots and notes and writing them in a journal. So if I'm adjusting or changing the trade, I'm taking before and after photos, of the risk graph, of the stock chart, and typing in my notes and what I thought was going to happen versus what actually happened. And then you can go back and review, just like you said. That's an excellent observation, because that's how you get better. You have to go back and review your mistakes.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, there's a really good Mind of a Trader we did last May that talks about the trading report card, the daily report card. And if you're looking for a format on how to journal with screenshots and notes and all that, if you're a pro member of Tackle Trading, go and watch the May Mind of a Trader, from Cody Potter, and you can find it on our website. I think there's some real good tips on how to do that. I love that concept, Noah. I think it really helps to journal and to definitely put all that detail down there. Move on to the dollar here for a minute, $DXY.
Noah, I keep getting a Pavlovian response on my own computer every time I hear your Slack go off.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cody,
sorry about that. I didn't realize I didn't have that turned off.
I keep like turning to see like what notification I'm getting. I'm like, wait, it's not. It's Noah's computer. I'm here and get a notification.
My bad.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. A couple of economic data, points that I thought were interesting that came in today. Jobless claims came in stronger than expected. Durable good orders came in stronger than expected. And the GDP number for the fourth quarter, actually third quarter, came in at 2.1% relative to 1.9. Relatively, these are not red impact events. I mean, we don't have key economic data today, but these are all orange and yellow impact events, and they all came in pretty strong. More signs that the economy is doing well here. Dollar's about to break out. Cody, you're my Forex kid. Give me analysis on the dollar here. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing exactly what you're saying. That is a fantastic setup. If you didn't catch the first trigger that happened a week ago, then this is the secondary trigger that could happen right above. It's pushing on it right now. I would say right about 98.39 really is, if you're not in it, you could trigger into this thing and easily play it continuously to the upside. It's a beautiful technical setup right here between the long-term channel, the W formation, the breakout of the W pattern, the retest at that line, back up now above moving averages. It's pretty picture perfect if I would say so myself.
There you go, Cody.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, all right.
You know what we found, Emily, is Noah only zooms in for people that he likes.
I
He never-
noticed that.
He shows favoritism with his little zoom feature. He
That's
never
true.
zooms in for Matt or me. I don't know why that is.
Well,
we
you
have to
know.
request it, you know?
Oh, yeah, of
man.
course, of
Yeah,
course.
I noticed that when you were doing rapid fire the other day.
Get your own Zoom feature.
Oh man. Share. It's Thanksgiving. Share, Noah.
That's exactly
It's like a $20 app. I think you can add it on.
It's a cool thing. W breakout, old resistance, new support. No, from a technical perspective, if this was any other chart, a breakout of resistance would be tradable. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even on this, it's a breakout. I still think you're seeing dollar strength. Patterns like that form for a reason. And, you've got that upward channel. It's in the middle of the channel, but it's put in the higher low. It's knocking on the resistance door. It's got a clean trigger. It's a breakout. It just has some noise overhead. If you look at the history of the chart, some of the previous, price action from a couple months back. But
it's been noisy for about a year.
Well, I mean, it's a noisy channel because it's been a slow grind. If you back it out to that weekly time frame, it's been a kind of a slow grind up, and there's still some overhead resistance out there at the $100 mark, and some known resistance. But that's a pretty clean technical channel. That's one of the reasons I've left my lines on there. For just basic analysis, is I think that those are pretty good ballparks of where the channel is.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's move through the commodity market here and kind of talk about cash flow. By the way, I think the theme of November has been bullish upward mobility and cash flow, because in this kind of environment, it's perfect to be positive theta and to carry like naked puts, bull puts, condors, whatever your favorite form of cash flow is, if you know how to trade it. If you're out there watching our show, just pop in and type cash flow in the chat. It's a mindset. It's a strategy. It's the way we approach it. Crude oil next here, Noah. And Coach Mark talks about how he likes to cash flow this one. Coach Matt, everybody in tackle trading. Naked puts have been great. Bull put spreads have been great. Emily, let me get your analysis on this one first. I know you trade crude oil. How are you approaching this one?
Just the usual that I do. I do cover calls on USO and, just cash flow. There's really nothing much to do here other than just cash flow.
I agree. It's a perfect product for it. There's no question about it. In fact, now for a month and a half, as we've gone through the entirety of earnings season, it found support held at 52.53. We've meandered up the chart. Noah, I was trying to rank this one today, and I couldn't decide if I was just flat neutral or slightly bullish. Is there anything in there that makes you want to say slightly bullish at all?
Slightly bullish because it's above all the moving averages. It's above, all of them. The 200 specifically is the one I think is kind of the demarcation point here. But, from the overall context, I still get that neutral, it's just a neutral context, very, very sideways. Some of the news headlines I've read are about, Russia and OPEC and, the Saudis not keeping inventories down. They're still, they haven't slowed down the pumps. They've kept the production up. So I think that's going to keep prices down. But other than that, it's a very neutral context.
A neutral all year long. I mean, when you pull that back and you look at the big picture, literally between 52 and 60, 62 maybe, we're just stuck right in the middle of that range. $57 here heading through the holiday. It's been a good cash flow instrument. Another one that I love on cash flow from a 15-year career has been natural gas, and I've been trading it more recently, Noah. A couple of candlesticks here that are concerning me a little bit. I'm not going to adjust or hedge anything as long as I'm above 2.50. But I always like getting other people's opinion. Am I seeing something that's not there?
I don't think so.
I got a bull put spread on. I've had
Yeah,
bull
no,
put
it's-
spreads on for months, so I'm trading it that way. I mean, you got 3 red candles. Can I get that little zoom?
You
Like,
can, Tim.
it's Thanksgiving. I'm
Ask
gonna
and
be.
ye shall
Oh,
receive.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Now I'm in the cool kids club. So for me here, 250 is a key level of support, right?
Yeah, big level of support right there. I mean, it's got the 200 period moving average, and it's not even just that. I mean, now I can't get rid of the zoom feature. What do I do? All right, got it rid of. Okay. It's also just big fat number at 250. 250 is just a nice fat number. It's acted as resistance back here in the past. So it's and you got the 200 and the 50 coinciding. So that's kind of a triple whammy technical level, price level, resistance level, 2 moving averages, and it's held recently. So it's a big zone. And I personally wouldn't have a problem doing, the put spread or the puts down there.
Yeah, Emily, are you trading that gas yet? Have you gotten back in the pool here?
I did do some naked puts on UNG a while back. I have not gotten back in on it. It's not cold enough in Maryland yet. I'll wait till January.
Oh, knock on wood there, kiddo. We're heading into the holiday, and I know how it can get on the East Coast. You don't want to have that wrath come to you, but January usually is a little bit more bitter. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Gets quite cold over here.
Seasonality wise, Noah, we know winter, it gets cold, natural gas has demand, but are we early in the season for that? When do you see the strongest correlation heading through the winter months?
Usually I see it start to spike up in October, like we did this year. You see it start to run just as you get, through the, kind of those fall months, and there's snow on the ground here. So I'm full blown thinking seasonality, but it's just one of those things where every year is a little different. You can only use that historical data. That's kind of a reference point, helps you frame an opinion, but it's the outcome is still going to be what the market's doing right now. So, I love seasonality as a really good tool, and there is a typical seasonal run that starts about mid-October. And I don't think this year's any different. If you go back and study the past data, it's pretty consistent. Of course, there are years it doesn't move like you think. So you can't put too much faith and confidence into seasonality, but it's certainly something that I think is always a good thing to study on the stocks you're looking at.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's keep moving through the market here. Talk metals next. Give me gold, if you will. I think we can have a full conversation on gold in about 3 seconds. It's the same as it's been for months, just meandering down here. I don't see anything to add to that. Noah, you?
It's shiny and it's buy anytime it dips. But other than
I love gold, but yeah.
Other than that, technically it's kind of meh right now.
Palladium, though, little breakout, guys. We've been nailing this palladium call for a long time, and I know a lot of people don't trade it because they don't know how to trade it. There's the futures market. There's also the ETF that you can go long in. There's different ways you can play it. Palladium, extremely bullish right now, breaking above resistance, hitting into a new high, Noah.
Yeah, beautiful pattern. Like this is textbook clean entry above resistance. Like that's about as clean a line on a breakout as you get.
And I'm with you.
Yeah.
Bring up PAL real quick. I just wanted to kind of give
Bring
the
up
audience
which?
PALL.
Okay, PALL.
Now, there's no options unless they added them literally in the last week. I don't think so. But click the trade tab real quick. There are no options on PAL. They don't option it. Market makers have not added that product. So if you do invest in PAL, it's probably an investment or a trade. You can trade it. The stock version, the ETF version, is liquid enough to trade, but it's kind of tricky in that regard. Noah, would you ever trade a product that has no options like this?
Yeah, but I prefer having options. So, I mean, I don't have a problem trading, straight up stock. Cause I mean, stock's liquid, stock's simple. This has a bit of a gapping personality, which that would add a little excitement to a stock trader's life. But other than that, it's a clean instrument. I mean, what's the average volume down to 28 million? Is that
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's plenty liquid.
Yeah.
And the reason it gaps is because the futures trade around the clock and the ETF doesn't. So the futures move and then the ETF has to catch up. So you get a little bit of gapping personality there, but it's pretty clean. I mean, it's certainly something you could trade. If I had my druthers, I'd take something with options, but I wouldn't turn down a great opportunity if I could still trade the stock.
I'm with you, brother. Quick peek at Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually finding a little bit of a bottom here. I'm finally don't have Matt here to pick on me for my Bitcoin position. It's
when you're going to sell, Tim, I'll help.
I think between the three of us, we could give you enough hard time.
Dude, I feel like Rocky taking just fist from that Drago, in Rocky 4 from Matt on Bitcoin. I'm just up against the ropes, Emily. I'm up against the ropes. I'm hanging on. Maybe I'm going to go down. I don't know here. No.
What you need to do, Matt, or sorry, Tim, you need to practice your victory speech. First of all, you're going to come out bloody and scarred. But if you can give that same victory speech at the end, like, if I can change and you can change, we all can change. Bitcoin, I think, is an interesting instrument right now. It's clearly in lots of people talking about it. It's getting beat up, but watch that kiss goodbye zone. Just watch that kiss goodbye zone that's forming right now. That 200 period moving average and support zone.
I've got a special Thanksgiving request. I've got some time off. I've rented a little Airbnb down here in San Antonio. I'm going to be with my family all week, and I'm going to want to watch a movie or two over the holiday, Noah. I think that's kind of a tradition, kick football on Thursday and then a movie or two over the weekend. If you're out there watching our show right now, what is one movie like a Rocky that you go to that's a feel-good movie, that you could just turn it on and just enjoy it no matter how many times you've seen it? What's your one go-to movie, like on a long weekend or a holiday rewatch?
Like a feel-good movie?
I was about to say, does it have to be a feel-good movie? Because I mean,
we'll call it a dad movie.
Well, this time of year, it's Christmas Vacation. For me, something I watch every year is Christmas Vacation, that and The Christmas Story.
Dude, Rocky 4 was a good one. Christmas Vacation would be good. Emily?
My wife and I always watch
Bad Boys.
No, actually, no. We the kids will watch all the Home Alones. Home Alone 1 through I don't know what numbers. I think 3 or whatever. But yeah, I do like to watch reruns of Martin and Fresh Prince because they're literally on like all weekend long. So I do like to catch reruns on sitcoms. Who
doesn't like to watch those, huh?
Yeah. So yeah. I will be watching some of those.
Trading Places would be a good one here, Ime. Yeah. The Breakfast Club. Oh, what a great movie,
The Breakfast Club. Good answer.
Yeah.
Elf, by the way, is my kid's favorite movie. Christmas movie. We watch it. It's a great movie. When he jumps on that Christmas tree, I've seen it 1,000 times. I still laugh every time.
Oh, the Grinch with Jim Carrey. That's a good one too.
Another really good one, Ellie. Yeah, Christmas Story, always a good one. We'll find a good dad movie. Maybe a Rudy.
Oh, Rudy's great. Anything that Rudy, but that just makes me want to run out and tackle people.
Well, it is football on Thursday. Maybe a good Rudy movie would be a good one. A football movie sounds all right. Let's move on to individual companies here, guys. And Deere, I think we got to start here. By the way, here in a few minutes, we're going to play a little game. And we do different segments on Wednesday. We're bringing back an old segment. If you listen to the podcast for a long time, called Clown of the Week. And we've got some fun ones to talk about. We'll do that here in a few minutes. Deere down 5%, and honestly, technically, very, very concerned here. You are going from bullishness to now at least neutrality here, Noah. You've broken below support, broken below moving averages. They cited uncertainty on 2020 EPS with the trade war and international sales. Give me a read on that gap right there.
Well, that's exactly what you see, Tim, is that break of that key resistance support level at 170. So, you had a pretty good looking bullish setup prior to that gap. And that, again, clears out all those moving averages, takes out the first big level of support, which also happens to be that big 170 zone. And this is kind of one of those things where, when the chart tells you it's changing, believe it. This is one where, a gap like that, sure, it could recover and fill, but it's completely crossed back down into the neutral territory, but down below the 50, below the 170 key support zone, above the 200, and it's still closing near the lows. So I would expect this gets stuck somewhere between 170 and 160 for the near future.
Yeah, Boeing next. I saw a report, and I actually don't know how the FAA worked in the past, but basically all 737 Maxes have to go through and be inspected by the FAA. Here's a question, and maybe if you're an airline pilot or somebody in the industry, you can answer it. Why don't they inspect every plane? Like, shouldn't that be standard practice for every plane that's produced? I mean, why would we allow?
It's
Go
funny
ahead,
you say
Cody.
that, because I actually just had this conversation the other day with someone. I was like, I never want to be the person who gets on the plane after the mechanics are done with it. I was like, because planes aren't like cars. You don't get to drive around the neighborhood and test drive it. They just fix it. And they're like, all right, it's good to go now. And they put it back in service.
Like, did they make the pilot drive it around to see if they can get the knock to reproduce itself?
Exactly. It's like, how do you know if you're the first flight after the planes come out of the hangar?
Well, I don't know, but they do have thorough checklists they go through before.
Yeah, they do have thorough checklists.
I trust the pre-flight checklist, and you got to trust your pilot.
Earl has a good point. Maybe they don't have enough FAA employees to do that, to check every plane. I get that. And you've got to have responsibility as a company. If we give you the public trust, obviously, I understand that. I don't know. I read the news and I was like, I didn't know that they weren't doing that they weren't actually inspecting every plane they put into service.
They do still on that passenger manifest. They call them souls. It's not number of people on board. It's the number of souls on board. And so I think they do take it pretty seriously.
Yeah, I think the FDA. So even though the FDA isn't directly looking at it themselves, putting
an FAA, because the Food and Drug Administration, I don't want them checking my planes.
No.
He is on a roll today. What was the other one? NLC and NLP, and now it's FDA and FAA.
First of all, I've had enough meals on airplanes to think that the FDA should get involved here.
Thank you, Tim, for that rescue, for that save.
Yeah.
But I do think the companies have enough thorough checklists and paperwork, like Noah said, and then what they have to turn in to the FAA is very detailed, and there are some stringent laws there. It's really just when things get in the public eye that people are unaware of, or that's when people get worried.
Yeah. Now, first of all, it does remind me of another movie I could add to my holiday list, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Just a fun old comedy, Noah. I don't know.
That's a classic.
Price action on Boeing's not reacting to it is probably a good thing. As Boeing gets back to business, I mean, at some point in 2020, we got to be talking about potentially a buy above 400 here, Noah. I know that I've got my bias now because I feel like they've really violated the public trust, and I've left it alone for a long time. But at some point, above 400, if you develop a trend, it could be an interesting opportunity. A couple more companies in the news. UAA, Under Armour. I think that's a Maryland-based company, Emily, if I remember right. I'm trying to think where they're.
Well,
it is a Maryland-based company.
UAA and Noah froze.
Noah's frozen.
Yeah, I was about to say, unfortunately, I think we lost Noah.
That's right.
Does one of you have your paper account up already? If not, we can just filibuster here while I open mine.
Yeah, you bring yours up here in a minute. Yeah. Under Armour, actually a really good company, and one that we've targeted many, many times over the years. It had an upgrade. Interesting of note, Dell got cut down 5% on their revenue guidance. Elon Musk, who we'll talk about here in just a minute when we get into Clown of the Week, he is reporting that 250,000 of those trucks have been pre-ordered.
It's because you can pre-order them for like $100 deposit. It's not because people actually want them. I think it's there. And there's a thing where it's the fact that they're keeping it so cheap as well that people who couldn't afford a Tesla any other way, they see this and like, oh, I'm gonna buy it because now I can say I own a Tesla. It's like
I gotta tell you,
I was skeptical as to like what market he's tapping, and now I realize it. Looking back on it, I can see what he's tapping. He's tapping the couldn't ever get there, but now he possibly can market.
Explain that, Cody. That must be some Texas logic that I have not wrapped my head around.
All right. If you've always been envious of a company or a brand, but you could never afford that company or brand, because like a Tesla vehicle being, $100,000 vehicle, and then all of a sudden they bring one out that they're launching at $38,000, which is cheaper than some people's trucks.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're dropping 60K on this truck. I saw the $38,000 price tag. I mean, it's not going to be 40K. That's if you get nothing with
But
it.
they don't teach
That's if you
people
just get the
overall.
middle.
They say how much per
Yeah.
month, how much down. When you can reserve this car for $100 down, it's desirable.
And, you know,
Is
and
it
I got to
right?
tell you, Coach Hero makes a point here. He says, I put a down deposit down. I want it. It's totally functional. I actually saw 4 or 5 people that I know are truck guys. They're outdoor guys that said, and I saw it through my social media feeds, they actually want the truck. So maybe we're not seeing something that somebody else is seeing. I'm just saying 250,000 people, even with a small deposit, that could be something. Yes.
I guess.
Maybe. I'm still a skeptic.
Yeah, it's not for me. We'll just say
I'm
that.
a skeptic. Let's see
Yeah.
what we have here. Okay. Yeah.
We'll talk Tesla here in just a minute. Little pullback on the news, by the way. If you are a bull on Tesla, you do have upward potential price action above a pivot trigger. I wouldn't take it, but some people might see that in the chart. Real quick one on Xerox XRX. This takeover bid is going hostile, and I don't know if there's a more favorite storyline in the market from me that when one company takes over another company in a hostile fashion, Emily. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's just like some man aggression. I don't know.
Hostile takeover is, well, I think they're saying that the actual negotiations are getting hostile, but an actual hostile takeover is when a company does refuse to want to make a deal with you and have some sort of merger acquisition, is when they literally just go to the market and start buying up shares to get majority control. And then they start pushing people out because they have majority control.
Well, they are threatening to bypass the board of directors of HPQ and actually go directly to shareholders and start appealing to them.
Exactly. And that's what a hostile takeover is just overlook the board of directors and say, you guys work for the shareholders. We're about to become your majority shareholder and make you change you change your mind. So yeah, it's a hostile takeover.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. A couple other companies real quickly as we get ready for our, clown of the week. We'll see if we'll filibuster a little bit till Noah comes back. On the option report, I saw a really good stock, Facebook. And I liked this one. There were so many triggers this week, so many different setups that were playing out well. Facebook actually above 200 here triggered today. That report this week killed it, guys. I mean, if you're out there and you're a pro member, hopefully you took advantage of some of those picks. They don't all trigger every week. Obviously, that's not the nature of a watch list. But man, the bullish activity on individual companies right now, Emily, it's a bull market and it's a bull run, but there are a lot of really good setups on these companies, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Facebook's looking great today. Big green candle. Market's closed tomorrow, so make sure that you have your rules in place, stop losses, whatever and whatnot. But market will be open Friday. Make your adjustments then if you need to. But yeah, it's good. Looks good to me.
Yeah, it looks good and feels good to me as well. And guys, here on a Wednesday as we're getting ready for the end of this little short section in the week and get into a holiday. And then I think Friday as well, Cody, I probably won't do any trading. I'll check the futures market. I'll come in and look at the market if something real crazy is going. But I'm probably going to be watching Christmas Vacation or Rudy or something.
I'm mentally checking out like after, and actually, well, Friday we're still going to have the scouting report meeting. So probably that's all.
No, we're doing that today, kiddo.
Oh,
we're doing our meeting today, and so we've got that on the docket.
Then I can mentally check out. Then after our scouting report meeting, I can mentally check out and be like, I'm done.
That's right. But so one thing we decided to plan for today in our show is the thing we call Clown of the Week, which Emily, you remember this on the podcast, yes?
Yep, I remember it.
Okay, explain what Clown of the Week is, Emily.
So it's basically, something that's in the news this week that's just like, off the wall. It's like, really, did that really happen? So it's just finding somebody to just make fun of, based on the news that's out that week or, in the last few days.
Well,
did we ever decide, is it Clown of the Week or Clown Shoes or something? Because I remember that was a thing, like going back and forth, like, okay, is the Clown Shoes the name of the segment? Or are we just putting Clown Shoes on the person that was a clown?
Sure.
I thought we were just making somebody the clown, like just make it like a clown. It was a clown face, right? So not shoes.
Let me explain the history of that, Cody. So it was Clown of the Week, but then Matt started calling it Clown Shoes. And so we just decided to reinvent the history behind it to appease Matt and let him know that he was right. So then we started calling it Clown Shoes, and then we brought back Clown of the Week. It just kept
Nice.
floating over and over and over behind. And he's not here, by the way, so it's easy for me to throw that out there. But I think what it was is Clown of the Week is the game. Clown shoes is what the winner gets to wear. Does that make sense?
I think you're right.
Yep. Yep. So let's get our nominations. And by the way, if you're our audience out there and you're watching and going through this, you pick your favorite as well. Which one do you think deserves the clown shoes? And let's start with you, Cody.
All right. So, well, I'm going to go and let me switch my screen over here. Welcome back, Noah, by the way.
Feels good to be back.
I'm going to go with this piece of news that came out, I think it was a day ago. And again, I didn't change my screen share. There it is. This right here. After $1 billion theft, where they stole all these priceless pieces of jewelry, they were uninsured. The German museum did not have any of this jewelry insured. $1 billion.
Inside job. I kept saying it the other day. This feels like a Hollywood movie. Like, we're not going to have the insurance. We're going to tip somebody off. They're going to come in and steal it. But this is
probably going to have a boring plot. Like, inside employee just decides to take it home from work one day and not tell anybody.
Yeah. Hey, this is like not buying a few put options on the SPY when markets are all-time highs and volatility's low.
I was thinking about that,
Yeah.
Jimbo, the Thomas Crown Affair. I do believe that was
Yeah.
actually, yeah. I think the 90s version was a remake of an original one from the 70s. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think it was made twice.
Aren't all Hollywood movies remakes at this point in time?
Yes,
Rudy.
yes,
Feels
yes,
like
they are.
it.
It does feel like that. Yeah, this is pretty good. But here's where, whenever you have a story like this in Clown of the Week, Cody, and Matt knows this, who's the clown? Is it the museum? Is it, the oversight in the museum that didn't allow them to do it? Is it the government that didn't require that they had insurance? Who's the clown here? Is it just the museum for not holding the
Yeah.
I
insurance?
would say like
Definitely
the
the
museum
museum.
director or head of security or like all of them.
Were
Yeah.
they potentially the ones in on the heist? I mean, I'm just throwing that in there,
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go next? So we've got the museum as one clown nomination here. I'll go next. Did you see John Schnatter?
I
Oh,
did.
Oh
all
my.
right. So explain that one as I get it pulled up.
Oh my. So there's so many stories. There's so many different candidates I thought about nominating here. So my nomination is John Schnatter from Papa John's fame. And he came out and he did some interview with a local TV outlet. In fact, if you'll scroll down, there was a video of it on Twitter. That was one of the top trending things on Twitter here the last couple of days. And basically he has this rant about, I'm going to prove it. I'm going to show everybody that they are running that company into the ground. I've got the information. There's a day of reckoning coming. And my favorite thing from the whole interview, the dude claims to have eaten 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. Okay. Noah, could you down 40 pizzas in a 30-day window?
Probably not. If you scroll back up to that video picture, I just want to point out here his glassy eyes and glistening sweat. He's got the meat sweats. He must be doing the meat lovers pizza now.
Oh, man.
Not only that, but just the puffiness and like visible inflammation that's happening in his skin. Just
He looks like he got stung by a bee. Like, it's ugly.
it's
Oh,
not
swarm of
healthy. Like
bees.
that's
Yeah. Scroll down a little bit, by the way.
no. Oh, Jimbo's got I want to change my answer to what Jimbo just said in the chat. I want to change my nomination. the refs at the
Okay, Snowflake.
that's
Oh
the
my
clown that I want
God.
to nominate. Tripping.
It was a bad tripping call. There's no question about it. Jimbo nominates the refs on the Cowboys-Patriots games, which, by the way, they did affect the end of the game. There's no question. I was listening, and it affected my fantasy football team because I had Amari Cooper, needed some points out of him. I'm with you. That's definitely an emotional one. But here on Schnatter, that's my nomination. Can you even imagine? Scroll down a little bit, Cody. I want to show one last thing on this guy. There's an image sitting in the room while he's being interviewed. There's nobody there. This is a local TV production in a gym somewhere, it looks like. And here he is, the ex-CEO of a company, coming in saying, Yeah, I've got that day of reckoning coming here, Emily.
It's just bad.
Is it too? And here's what happens with this game sometimes. Is it too sad?
Yeah, it's almost sad. It's like I'm looking at him and I almost feel sorry for the guy. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. All right. All right. Two in here. Noah, who's your nomination?
The man who got out, who tried to punch the cop, and it just happened to be a canine cop. And the good old canine dog came out and finished the fight for him. So I don't know if you saw this one, but
I didn't.
anybody
I
who
don't know
punches a
this story.
cop. Oh no, yeah, you have the link there, Cody.
So wait a sec. So there was somebody who assaulted a police officer.
Man, he's in clear fighting form, kind of dancing around like he's a boxer. And cop gets out of the car and kind of approaches the man cautiously, and the man's kind of in his boxing stance, and he goes to try to punch the cop. The cop shakes it off, pretty easily. Just takes 2 steps back and opens the car door, and out comes the canine and takes him down.
Oh man. First of
Oh
all,
my God. First of all, who captured this? Number one, because this is awesome.
Well, I think his trainer probably caught it.
dude,
Yeah,
I love dogs.
The video's down here, and I'm not going to play it so that YouTube doesn't yell at us. But you can watch it, and like Noah said, like he comes out, and the guy immediately goes to a boxing stance, hits the cop, and the cop just kind of like takes it, and like looks at him like, you don't even realize what you just did. And he kind of slowly walks back,
Ron.
opens the back door. So it was just like, yeah. And then afterwards, the cop actually then got a shot on him when he took him to the ground. So,
oh my.
Oh yeah.
y'all gotta watch the video, but that's a good nomination as well.
All right, 3 down here. Emily, give me yours.
Oh, I'll have to go with our friend your friend Elon Musk, because you were a fanboy for a while, but with the Cybertruck that's supposed to be bulletproof, but then it's really not. Like,
okay, all right. So here's my thing. I had a conspiracy theory on this one. Do you think this was planned for advertising? They're like, we know if we have a funky display and we break because he got the most free advertising on the market this week.
I wouldn't put anything past him. What am I trying to say? Blah blah blah. I wouldn't put it past. You get what I'm trying to say.
Wouldn't put it past him?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah.
I mean, if
he's a genius, but he's not that smart.
I don't think so. He's got too big of an ego as well. I mean, he's got way too much money. I don't think so. And the other thing is they broke it twice, right? You see that image right there. It was once, and then he made the guy actually pull another ball out and try to do it again, and it broke it twice. Not a good look for your demo on your new product that you're trying to say has indestructible windows. I agree. This is a real.
First of all, that's an ugly looking truck.
I also enjoyed Neil deGrasse Tyson calling him out on the truck pulling contest. Like he's like, oh, they clearly violated several rules of physics to give them the advantage. So.
Oh yeah, I did see that as well. That's a good one. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson.
We're all going to vote here, and then we'll make a final call. Let me hear from the audience, though. Who's the clown of the week, guys?
Yeah, these 4. You got to put them in there.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Okay, for having his truck demo go badly and have the window break. Is it the police, guy who struck a cop and then got tackled by the police dog from that same police officer? Is it the John Schnatter from Papa John's fame, who went out there and ate 40 pizzas in 30 days and made a big production about it? Or what was the last one we had? The museum.
The museum heist.
Yeah, the museum heist where they did not insure $1 billion of jewelry. And let us know in the chat which one you think is the clown of the week and which one's clown worthy. I'm going to let Noah go first. Noah, you can't pick your own. Which one do you think is best out of the other 3?
Oh, I want to vote for Papa John just because you got to respect anybody who can down 40 pizzas in 30 days. That's so sad.
Dakota?
Can't pick my own. So the Papa John thing, that's a little bit bad. But the clown though is just, to me, a clown is the person who did the stupidest thing, and that to me is the punching the cop.
That was
he did
really
that,
bad.
and then watching that dog come out Like even the cop had that moment of like, you don't even realize how bad you just screwed up, but you'll
I'm
see.
with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm the same. The museum and the guy punching the cop. I mean, that's just for the museum. That's just stupid. I think the guy, just going after the cop. It's like, what are you thinking? Like, what did you have to be on to try to even attempt that?
First of all, the dog might have been the best out of all the different solutions that cop could have had to somebody assaulting him, by the way.
Right.
Taser, gun, all kinds of different things. The guy's probably in jail. That's a bad one. I mean, this one's a tough one. I do think the Papa John one, the more I looked at that poor guy, it's kind of just a sad one. I don't think we can give it to him. We don't like to promote the sadness behind the clown of the week, Emily. We want a good
No.
little chuckle, good little laugh. The museum one, it was a failure in risk assessment. I'm not sure it's clown worthy though, because you don't have one person I can point to. You've got an entire board of directors who decided we don't need that. And who knows? I think it comes down to the cop and Elon Musk. God, I mean, Elon is in front of a million people. This one guy's probably just, drunk or on some kind of drug, acting like an idiot with a cop. We've seen the TV show Cops for about 30 years where there's 1,000 people like that.
Mhm.
I'm going to vote for Elon Musk. I want everybody to put their final vote in the chat here, and I'm going to let Emily make the final call here. Emily, who do you want to be our clown of the week with clown shoes put on them?
It's gonna have to be the guy that punches the cop for me.
Yeah, good
All
job.
right.
All right, there's our
We
clown
got
of
a
the
winner.
week.
Are we,
Cody,
are we gonna do a Photoshop and like give him some shoes and everything in that video?
I'm gonna put that for you, kid. There's no
All
question
right.
about it.
I'm gonna see if I can do it. I'm gonna see if in the video I can just edit the video to have shoes on him.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It might take me some editing time, so this might not get up
Can
today.
you do it with the cat meme? Those cat memes are funny with the lady pointing in the cat. Like, figure out how you can put the man's face on the, I don't know, but that would be funny.
Oh my goodness. And last thing, Cody, I just dropped a link in the Zoom chat. Go into that Cyber Monday offer. We're going to be talking about this every day for about a week. Guys, if you're a member of our pro member community and you know that you want to extend that and be a member long term, you've got a good discount right now. It's a pretty simple offer. Noah, kind of explain it to everybody.
Yeah, we've got the annual discount again. We just do this, we do this once, twice a year tops. And we've got that discounted price for $895. That's a 23% discount. So it's over 20%, which is a $269 savings off the annual. And that, with $269, you can go buy yourself a share of Apple.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want with that money. So it is a great saving. We know, a lot of you out there would benefit, greatly from the discount. And we're going to be running that from now through December 6th. And we are also holding a Cyber Monday swing trading webinar on Monday, the 2nd at 8:30 Eastern. So I wanted to invite y'all to come to that, and we'll be sending out some links to register and have it out there on social media as well. So I'd love to have y'all come out. And again, we're just gonna be talking about the swing trading in general, the step system. And if you're new to tackle trading and you haven't seen that stuff yet, come on out. And if if you're one of our seasoned veterans, you want to come out just to support us, we'd love to have you there.
Yeah, several things about the annual. Number one, I got a question in the chat from Ellen. Does it add on to the end of my current subscription? Absolutely, Ellen. If you need some help with that or some clarity, just buzz an email to team@tackletrading.com. Coach Mark can help you with that. He's been, working with people one-on-one to make sure they know when and whatnot it's adding to that subscription. So if you already have a membership, just email the community and make sure that you got that clarified. And this is going to be out there for about a week. I think it goes till December 6th. So there is a timeline on it, but if you want to do it, it's a great value, good discount. I'm glad that we can offer it. I think it's just kind of a cool thing around the holidays. There's no doubt about it. And last thing, I've got a question for you guys. I saw this thing on Market Watch. You know how they're going to have the Thanksgiving type of clickbaity stuff? And Cody, actually give me the screen real quick. Okay, I saw this thing on, and
Sorry, I froze there for a second. I was sort of like, this is not a good streaming day.
Let me know if you can see that.
How else am I supposed to get a bigger piece of pie?
I know.
Would that just drive you crazy?
No, that's how it's supposed to look.
That's my piece. That's your piece. And over there, Tim, that's your
Yeah, the kids are gonna waste. Yeah, if you cut it evenly, the little kids are gonna waste it. So they get the smaller pieces and then the grown-ups get to eat more. I mean, that's just perfect.
I like to cut them horizontally just to really mess people up.
Or have you seen the pictures of where they'll just cut a piece straight out of the middle, just a triangle out of the middle of the pie?
What drives me nuts is the people that eat the inside but then leave the crust off. And it's like, why did you do that? Like,
Crust
why?
is the best part.
I
It de-
know.
Yeah, crust can be the best part, but on some pies it's not. It depends on the pie. Sometimes the crust is way too much crust relative to my pumpkin. You got to understand. There will be times I got to leave the crust. So I'm that kid, Emily. I'm definitely that kid. I'll eat all the pumpkin, tons of whipped cream. And maybe one last question for everybody out there, you guys as well. What's your favorite go-to piece of pie? You've got you're an apple pie, Emily?
Apple and ice cream. Apple
Well,
pie,
this year,
warm apple
just
pie
for
and ice cream.
fun, I'm going to ask him to pass the impeachment pie.
Pass
Just
the
to see what happens at the dinner table. All right.
Cody, what about you?
I gotta go pecan pie with some whipped cream. That's
Yeah.
some Texas pecan pie.
Pecan
that's-
pie. That's my vote too.
One that's really very, very popular in our household. My mother-in-law makes a peanut butter pie. And it is something that my kids just have to have each and every holiday. I have an aunt that makes a pickle pie, Noah.
Yeah. A pickle pie?
Have you ever had that?
Pickle pie?
No.
Pickle pie. It's awful. You don't. You do not want pickle pie for Thanksgiving, but I'm just a pumpkin guy. I've always been a traditional pumpkin guy. A dollop of whipped cream, throw the crust away. That's my style. All right, guys. Happy
Hey,
Thanksgiving out there to everybody.
I got a random last question as we're moving to Thanksgiving. If you had to throw out any Thanksgiving dish that you're just like, no one should even have this, what is it?
Peas.
Oh, this is going to be blasphemy for some people, but the cranberry sauce.
Really?
No, if it was real, but that canned cranberry garbage that they put on the table, I've never been a fan. I think it's disgusting. That's not, my dogs would not eat the cranberry sauce. So,
Melted marshmallows on top of yams.
dude, I love them.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to go with that. So that was exactly what I was going to go with. I don't understand okay, you have something sweet. Let's add something more sweet to it. And we're going to call it a dish. It's like, I'm with you there. Like the candied yams is just, yeah, throw those out.
For me, it's always some sort of Jello dish that happens to, and we're from Utah. So Jello dishes are wildly popular out here. And somebody always brings some sort of lime Jello.
Oh, my mom, and I love my mother. I hope my mom does not make this or does not watch this show. I know she'll make it on Thanksgiving. She did a frog eye salad every year with mandarin oranges, marshmallows, pineapples, tons of Jello, all kinds of stuff. And I got used to it. It's okay. But the more I've, grown up and looked at my entirety of my life, that's a weird thing to put on a table. Utah is famous for the Jello salad.
I think that recipe went around, Tim, because my mom does the exact same dish. And I'm pretty sure it was passed out at the local church house like in the 70s, and it just hasn't gone away since.
Oh,
that's
man.
right. Well,
What is everybody thankful for? What's the one thing everybody is thankful for?
Oh, obvious.
I mean, the answer, the cliche answers.
Nah, man, just be real, be you. I'll tell
All
you.
right, I'll take a little personal, and I'll say I'm thankful for my my pregnant wife and my son that's on his way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say family. I've got a chance to be here with all my girls, Emily, my daughters. We came down here because my daughter's in the Army, right?
Yeah.
And when you're an Army kid, you're in AIT training. It's not like you're out every weekend, but they do let her out for Thanksgiving. And so the chance to kind of just be here with my kids, my wife, and all my girls, and have Thanksgiving dinner and watch Christmas Vacation or whatever it is, probably Elf, and just have some laughs. It's family, family, friends, community. There's no question about it.
Family.
Same here.
Yep. Our tackle family is a beautiful thing. I think we got a great community, and I'm really grateful for that as well.
Yeah, I'm thankful for just being, being with family and friends. I mean, I think a lot of us get caught up in the tradition of, oh, we do this every year, but sometimes you don't get to do that every year. But as long as you're still with the people that you love and you get to do something fun and exciting, I think it's awesome just to be able to spend time with family and friends and make it memorable. Kids always remember the things that we did with them rather than the gifts or whatever we spend on them. So memories are great. So I love that.
100%. Yeah,
So
they remember both, by the way. I remember every gift I ever got.
Every bad gift you probably got, you remember.
Go ahead, Noah.
Oh, I was
right,
just going to
guys.
ask Blake if we were going to still be family when Utes leapfrog Alabama in the college football playoff selection. Just throwing that out there for you, Blake.
They should leave.
Are the Utes still undefeated?
No, we lost one game, 12-1, same as Alabama. They're 5,
Okay.
we're 6. One of us is going to be really sad and playing it at a lesser bowl game.
You know what? I'm honestly just impressed that Alabama's down that far. Like they've been 1 or 2 for what, 6 years in a row. It's like, wait, when was the last time they were ranked anything less than like 3?
I know, like
Yeah.
give us a chance for crying out loud. For
Yeah.
crying out loud, just give us one shot.
Another reason why you should give it to Utah. That's right. All right, guys.
Everybody loves a Cinderella.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good luck to the Utes. Have an enjoyable, safe weekend. We are off on Friday just with the shortened trading day and the holidays.
No
We're going to
halftime
take the
report
day off.
Friday.
No halftime report on Friday. We'll be back on Monday. There is a mastermind group for the cash flow condors tonight at Tackle Trading. And if you need anything, just buzz us an email, team@tackletrading.com. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, be a part of us each and every day when we do this. Happy holidays. We'll see you on Monday.